He's Jeff King. I'm Andy Erickson. This is not another shooting show. We go to Niagara, Ontario, Canada, where a man shot himself in the foot, and the headline says his toe was basically blown off. Yeah. Jason Willis pleaded guilty to a charge in Ontario Court of Justice on Tuesday and was sentenced to time served, having spent blah, 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 6 months, whatever. On July 26th, the court heard first responders were called to an apartment building after a tenant reported that he had been sitting on his bed and had accidentally shot himself in the foot with a semi-automatic 12-gauge shotgun.
Jesus.
Yeah. Niagara Regional Police found the man bleeding profusely from his right foot. Willis did have a required firearms license, but an investigation determined the barrel of the shotgun had been cut down. He also told police he had a second firearm, a 9mm handgun, that had previously been stolen, but he had not reported the theft to authorities. Whoopsies, police had not recovered the stolen handgun. Thanks for the tater tots, buddy. My son just brought me tater tots. Thanks, Rock. All right. Snacks are good. All right. So, how does one shoot oneself in the toe, blow their toe off with a shotgun, Jeff? How do you suppose that happens? Was he practicing quad loading? No.
Maybe he was trying to do... Well, if it's a cut-down shotgun, maybe he was trying to, like, twirl it on his finger.
That's a tall order with a shotgun. I mean, how many rounds of shotgun have you fired in your life? I know it's a small number. That's why I can ask that question. Like,
less than 1,000? I tried trap shooting for, like, a little bit, so I feel like...
It's kind of boring, isn't it?
Yeah, like...
It's fun once in a while, but to do dedicated is boring as shit.
Right, like... For me, because like I was doing it when I was younger, I wanted to shoot a lot. And so like I wanted to load the tube up and shoot, say pull. Like
yeah.
I want all 5 of them out there, and I've just got to be like bam, 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 bam. I hated going bam, wait 5 minutes, load one shell in, bam, wait 5 minutes, load shell in, bam.
It's no wonder the trap shooters have like the lowest level of safety when you watch them at their matches. Because they never have any ammo in the gun.
Right.
Like, it's literally only loaded right before they shoot. And then they shoot that one round, and then there's not any ammo in the gun.
Right. And another piece to it is the majority of them use break-open shotguns that...
Yeah.
With the action unlocked, you can look down the tube.
Yeah, you're looking at a hollow tube.
Right, because it's, a 1-inch diameter or whatever... about 0.5 inch diameter or whatever, and it's like can clearly see that there's nothing there. But yeah, I there's a part of me that wants to try me and the Whites always talk about going, it's
Sporting clays is badass. Like, those guys are fucking good. Like, that's an impressive shotgun sport. I respect the hell out of that. No disrespect to trap shooting, like there's skill involved, but there's some crazy shit in that sport, and it's not an action shooting sport, but it's about as close to an action shooting sport without being one as you can get.
I mean, if you wanted me to take multi-gun national seriously, if the shotgun stages were sporting clay based, or like, hey, do this rifle and pistol shit and then run over here and shoot like an actual sporting clay like setup like I've heard them described, I'd be like, fuck yeah, let's go do that shit. But for me, again, based off of my experience with multi-gun, it's like, oh, shoot these stationary clay targets at exactly 7 yards, and we put like 17 of them together so that you can blast them with birdshot. I'm like, I'm less interested.
Here's another idea. Like we talked about in the last episode, like what does your training look like for Multi-Gun Nationals 2026? No disrespect, Adam Maxwell, if you hear this. None whatsoever. But the other option of a 3-gun match you and I could go shoot would be the Zombies in the Heartland in Grand Island.
I'm even less interested.
Okay. I just wanted to throw it out there because I've shot it twice and it's fun. It's a good time. Now, if you're looking for competitive equity, that's not the match for you. But it's a lot of fun.
I get a lot of the horror stories from my guys. So, like, because we have enough people from my club that are interested in it that go, and they'll be like, oh dude, like I only had like 2 shotguns pointed at me this year, or like, oh, this new guy just turned around and pointed his rifle at the whole crowd. I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah, I never saw any of that there, and I shot it twice, but I was on a squad with a bunch of experienced guys, so it's just an option that's way closer for you and about the same distance for me, but anyway, I got we got one question on our Reddit. I got a couple of message over Instagram and a text message asking about clarification for when I mentioned last week I think it was the first episode last week, the Wednesday episode, like 9 days ago, about banning 320s at matches. Is that allowed under USPSA rules? And here's the thing. There is not a provision to ban a gun under USPSA rules, okay? However, USPSA clubs, here's the thing you got to think about when you're talking about this. There are ranges. There are shooting facilities. Let's put it that way. A range is a shooting facility where shooting activities happen. And then clubs, in terms of the USPSA rulebook, USPSA clubs that use shooting facilities, aka ranges. If the range has decided the P320 is not allowed on the grounds of this facility, then the USPSA club must abide by that decision by essentially their lessee. Lessor? Lessee. Lessee is the one who's leasing, so it'd be lessor. Anyway, their landlord, basically. They have to abide by the landlord's rules. Okay? Now, in other situations like Jeff and my club, Jeff's club in Omaha, my club up here near Sioux Falls, in Canton, we're one and the same. The range is the club and it's the range. Like the range itself is the USPSA club.
Right.
So in that case, we technically can't ban it.
Boo. Boo this man.
Well, technically.
Technically.
Actually.
I
I have said this in emails to other board members, and I'm not doing this to shit on anyone. I'm just talking about reality. Okay, I understand what the rule is, 3.3 in the rule book that says you can't make your own house or club rules. Like, oh, well, here, if you do 1 in the AA, that counts as 2 alpha. Or like 1 in the head A box, that counts as 2 alpha if you only have 1. Like, you can't just make up that rule. Okay. Yeah. And so, like, not allowing a specific gun would be sort of making up a rule. Now, there aren't really rules in the rule book that say, with the exception of the list, the production list, where the P320 is listed. I suppose is sort of saying, like, yes, you must allow that gun. I suppose. However, if, like, my club hasn't made any decision, like, there's been no big, strong push by anyone at my club to, like, oh, we shouldn't allow the P320 at this club. Because, like, I haven't seen one at a match at my club in years. I shouldn't say years, in at least a year. That's just what's going to happen. Like, regardless of what USPSA itself thinks of it, and I realize I'm a board member of USPSA, if the rest of the board at my club felt that strongly about it, is USPSA looking to go disaffiliate clubs because they're not following Rule 3.3? I kind of doubt it.
Right.
I'm not saying never say never, but I don't, if a club just decides to do this, and I'm going to catch a lot of shit for saying this, I'm just going to say reality, okay? Because every time the board gets a question about this, the same email is going out that's saying, hey, under 3.3, if the range disallows it, it has always been enforced that range rules take precedent over USPSA rules, in terms of safety and whatnot. So that's what it's going to be. As far as, if, the Johnsonville, I don't know if there's a Johnsonville club in USPSA. I'm just saying, if the Johnsonville club which also owns its own range, decides that range is deciding that it's not going to do that, or they're not going to allow that, then that's what's going to happen. And there are clubs that are going to, and like, I'm just saying what's going to happen in reality. There are clubs who are going to, they're going to ask the questions and they're going to abide by what USPSA says are the rules. And there are clubs that are going to be like, no.
Right.
This is our range. I don't care what you say.
I am the captain now.
Yes. We had an RO class at my club this weekend. It was a one-day class. When I took the RO class, it was down in Louisville, Nebraska. I took it with Jeff. It was the first time I ever met him. And he shot over the wall because Troy said, "You're really tall. Shoot over the wall."
Actually, I think I just randomly drew that because I think he was like, "Did I actually give you that one?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Did he tell you to?
No, because remember we had to draw like a little slip or something, and that told you what range thing you were supposed to mess up.
Oh, yeah. That's right. So I wasn't there for most of the class because I was teaching my own class, my own pistol permit class yesterday. Matt Waite from Montana was our instructor there, and he's a super great dude. I highly recommend. If you end up with him, you'll be happy with him. Great dude. All the guys I talked to said he did a fantastic job running the class. As far as I know Troy has his ideas about how it should be a 2-day class, and that is the comfortable way to do it. To do the classroom, you're in the classroom for like 7-8 hours, and it's scheduled for 8. It's the reality of it is it's more like 7-ish from what I understand. And then there's like somewhere in the neighborhood of 3 to 4 hours on the range. So they started at an hour early at 7 a.m. And Matt actually asked me, he's like, "Hey, was anybody bitching about the early start time?" I was like, no. No one was complaining about it being all in one day and crammed into one day. The entire, we had 20 slots. We had room for 20 people in our clubhouse, and we had 15 people sign up. And most of them were late. Or not most of them, but I think how many were? There were like 3 people who signed up like day before. And I heard from many, many people like, if this had been 2 days, I wouldn't have taken it. Because we had so many people who came from Rapid City up by Watertown, South Dakota is about an hour and 45 minutes from Sioux Falls. That's a really annoying distance to travel for 2 days. So you either are going this relatively short distance and getting a hotel room for 2 nights. Are you going to drive down there in the morning? Maybe you drive down in the morning.
To get randomly certified for a sport that you pay to participate in?
Yeah. Or, maybe they... Because I think the Watertown dudes all drove down morning of, and then they drove down that night. They left at 5 a.m. They got there a little before 7. That's not a crazy morning, earlier than average for some people, but not terrible. And then it was over. It was functional. Like people were starting to leave at like 6 o'clock.
Okay, that's not terrible.
So like 11 hours. Like Steven's buddy Slim was on his way back to, I don't know if he was going back to Rapid or Grand Forks, but he's in the Air Force, so he was heading out right away. Like as soon as he's like no longer required to be there, he was gone because he had shit to do. But if it hadn't been a 1-day class, he wouldn't have been there, And that was the case for a lot of the people. And it's not so much that like I think it should be a 1-day class. I
think it should be an online course.
The one reason I don't like, I'm with you. I get it. But all the people who always say that are always like really experienced shooters who are like, this isn't that hard. Well, that class has to be designed for somebody who has just gotten their classification at a classifier match, and they've been shooting the sport for 3 months. They're now eligible to take the class.
So what I would say to that is make sitting in a fucking, VFW somewhere or wherever the fuck you have the class.
Senior Citizen Center in Louisville, Nebraska, by the way.
Yeah, right. Make that portion of it an online guided portion, and then be like, okay, and then you're going to show up at the range at 8 a.m. and we're going to do live iterations so that you can understand blah, 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 because you took the class and did the online test and blah, 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 blah the day before, or, send it out a week prior so that people can do it at their own leisure. And then boom, you're showing up there. You're like, hey, like you did all the shit, and most of the shit is learned through repetitions of experience, in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, I think it would be a much better, like, hey, show up at 8 a.m. We're going to be here from 8 to 3 or 4 o'clock at the range. Like, we're going to have lunch, but we're going to go over, like, what we see at matches, like, what, da-da-da-da. I think that would be a much better tool, and using the online, like, slideshow that they make you sit through would be much better done. Like, literally just fucking record one of them while they're presenting it. Record Troy presenting it or whatever, and then just have people be like, okay, I watched this. Now answer these 5 questions about what he just said. Oh, you got 2 wrong. Got to go rewatch it. And, like, companies deal with billion-dollar liabilities with this type of testing thing. Yeah. I think we can do it for our
I can assure you, the state of South Dakota and the Department of Transportation does an assload of training over videos on online learning. However, I have like my own ideas, like, and I'm not trying to shit on anybody with this. I'm really not. But I have ideas, and I'm going to tell you what they are after I tell you patreon.com/notanothershootingshow. It's only $3.57 a month if you want to hear what I'm going to say about what I think we should do with the RO class. And it's not crazy, and I still do think it should be in person. But I think it could be altered. And I am a person who has developed my own curriculum for teaching things, and I have learned over the years a lot of things, and I'll tell you all about it after you subscribe and join the Patreon. Patreon.com/notanothershootingshow. It's only $3.57 a month, and you'll get the rest of this episode.